case to order. If he's excused, Commissioner DeRocha is having some complications with his knee surgery, so stand for the pledge. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Approval of the minutes of the following County Board of Commissioners meeting, the closed session meeting held on October 1st, 2019, the annual meeting held on October 15th, 2019.
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner Oreen, supported by Commissioner Elbow. Questions or comments? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? No proclamations, presentations, or awards. Approval of the agenda with the permission of the board. I'd like to add 11A, a resolution in support of restoring the 25th Circuit Court judicial position.
I move to accept the agenda with that addition.
Support. Moved by Commissioner Ellis, supported by Commissioner DePietro, to accept the agenda with the addition. Further comments? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Public comment. Anyone wishing to address the board, please come forward, state your name and address, and you may speak. Public comment.
Good evening, Commissioners. My name is Matt Weezy. I'm the Marquette County Prosecuting Attorney. And I wanted to give you an update as to where things are at with our caseloads right now. I'll give you a quick overview. Last year, 2018, we had 678 felony files, and we had 1,481 misdemeanor files. We had 184 juvenile cases, and juvenile cases are people who are under 17 who have been charged with a criminal act. And we had 16 abuse and neglect petitions, and we had 78 mental health commitment hearings last year. I don't have an update on this year's mental health commitment hearings, but I do understand that those are up from Judge Hill, and I intend to have that data and also go back and give you a more historical trend, because what I'm doing is some statistics to see if we can identify trends. So that was last year. For this year, we're looking at, currently as of last week, we had 572 felony files. We had 958 misdemeanor files.
How many misdemeanors?
958. It's gone down. So we have a projected 2019 caseload of 698 felony cases, and as I've told you before, I believe that we're going to have about 200 of those will be methamphetamine felonies, which are 10 and 20-year felonies. And so our projection is 698 and 1,169 misdemeanors. We're also projected to have 192 abuse and neglect petitions projected, and in total. And I'll get the rest of the numbers on the juvenile and the MI hearings. Now, an MI hearing, which you might not know, I'm referring to as a mentally ill individual, and under Michigan law, the prosecutor has to appear in court because we're basically taking away somebody's liberty by forcing them to go into a treatment facility. So they can either agree to do that, or if they don't, we have to have a jury trial to prove to a jury that they're a person who's suffering under a mental illness under the Michigan Mental Health Code, and that they don't appreciate or understand their illness, and that they pose a danger to themselves or others. We've actually had 2 of those trials this year of the, I believe now 15 jury trials we've had this year. And projected next year, if these numbers continue, we're looking to have 775 felony cases and 988 misdemeanor cases. Now, of the cases, just so you're aware, 775 felony cases actually has 1,395 felony counts. So there could be multiple counts in a case, and same with the misdemeanors, there's counts. So I'm giving you cases versus counts. And I also want to give you a little bit of idea as to what we do and how we're doing it. This average over 5 years is showing an 11% yearly increase in felony cases each year. And it's showing a roughly an 8% reduction in misdemeanor cases each year over the last 5 years. And when we look at cases, just so you know, we take our job real serious as being the first gatekeeper to protect the citizens. against potential illegal activity by law enforcement or potential constitutional violations, or if they just don't have a strong enough cases. So we're the first ones to tell the police, I'm sorry you didn't get it right here, so this case isn't going to go into the system. And with that in mind, we authorize approximately 84.5% of the felony cases brought to us. So 15.5% of those cases are reviewed, but they don't get put into the criminal justice system. And with misdemeanor cases, we authorize approximately 83.2%. So that means that 16.8 don't get into the system either. So we are screening out cases actively, and we do take pride in making sure that we only authorize cases that we can prove and bring to trial if we have to bring them to trial. So my intention, Commissioners, is to give you next month an overview going back about 7 years, to give you a historical perspective, and I'll have that all out on a spreadsheet for you to show you the increases and where these numbers are based on. But we're seeing a significant increase in cases, and we're working hard. We like what we do, but we're also very busy, and we're short-staffed, but we're getting the job done.
Thanks.
Thank you.
My name is Greg Zeiber. I'm the Marquette County Sheriff, and I'm here to give you a report on why Matt Wiese is so busy. For the road patrol, we had 207 calls for service, 46 accidents, 91 citations, 346 civils received, and we served 279. We investigated 5 assaults, 7 retail frauds, 3 impaired, drugged or drunk driving, 3 drug cases, a stolen car, and a fatal fire in Sands Township. Our search and rescue, they had a mock search. They did dive training, open water, search and rescue, the annual field day training, and we had orientation for 13 new search and rescue members that we opened up, where our numbers have been down for volunteer search and rescue. So it's great that the community has stepped up, and we have 13 new members. Lost hunters or call for service assistance, Forsyth Township, we had a 70-year-old male on an ORV missing. Marquette City overturned sailboat in the lower harbor. In Big Bay, overturned sailboat in Lake Independence. Chocolate Township, we had a canine assist in finding a fugitive. In Republic, we had a lost hunter. In Marquette Township, lost hikers. Public safety classes, events, and inspections, Westwood High School. We did a wellness fair for Cliffs Mining. Central UP snowmobile meeting, and hunter safety classes, a 4-day class for kids at the Negaunee schools. Rescue 131, they had some training for Negaunee Iron and Metal. They did extrication and worked with Marquette County firefighters. They were at their meetings. Call for assistance, Big Bay, they had a water rescue. Negaunee Township, a personal injury accident. Ishpeming Township, another personal injury accident. Marquette Township, a rope rescue. I'm not sure what that is. I have to check that out. Humboldt Township, another personal injury accident. And in Sands Township, a structure fire. Our jail, we booked 166 people in, 119 males and 47 females. 161 people released, 114 males, 47 females. The highest number of inmates this October was 135. The lowest was 114. Our average daily inmate population for both the Mangum Farm and the jail was 124. And we did have 1 assault on the staff this past month. We also Saturday had a graduation for the 2nd Marquette County Sheriff Police Cadet Program. 8 kids graduated at the Marquette Township Hall Saturday with quite a few friends and family there. Any questions?
I'd like to thank you on behalf of the board for all the good things your department is involved in.
Thank you. Thank you. I want to advise you one thing I neglected. We participated in this app. They get our information from one of our apps. It's from Vine, which is a victim impact. It's called Mobile Patrol. Mobile Patrol is an app, and it allows people get this app on their cell phone, and they go to it, and every morning it shows who was arrested the night before. We have no say over who it shows on there, and there's been incidents where someone is arrested, yet the prosecutor hasn't authorized on that arrest, so that person's name's out there, and it's sometimes out there for 4 or 5 days, where we'll get a call that someone has been out of jail for a week or so and wanting their name off of that. We have no control. It's a company called Apparis, I think. So I opted out of this. I thought there might be some liability issues, and what I'm doing, it is a very popular app, and people were calling and complaining, but I'm looking at alternatives. There are apps out there that we can get and we can control as to what we put out. And there's quite a few other things, the programs we have, or water search and rescue, or contact the officers, or you can give tips. So I am looking into a different app that will give the information, but also we can control it so false information isn't going out. Yes.
Yeah, thank you for giving us these updates. I like to hear what's going on. We don't, otherwise we'd have no idea how many calls you're on or whatnot.
Sure.
And I do agree, as a second thing, I do agree that the mobile app is pretty popular with people. I never did it, but I knew people. People would call me right away and say, hey, so-and-so got arrested today.
Yeah.
So, I don't know if it's a liability issue or not, but it'll be interesting to see what you replace it with.
Well, one thing, we're not going to put the name out there unless they've been arraigned. So it won't be as quick as instant time, but I want someone arraigned before we're putting a name and face out there.
Yeah, good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Public comment?
Nick Benson, Marquette County Treasurer. Just wanted to extend a big thank you to the commissioners that were able to make it to my swearing in last week. Those that couldn't make it, you were missed. But again, thank you. We have tentatively hired, she hasn't formally accepted my old position, and we had a promising candidate this morning for the chief deputy position. So we shouldn't be short-staffed too much longer. And look forward to keeping you guys in the loop.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Public comment?
Dan Rademacher, 152 Anderson Road. I'm here to give you the answers to some of the questions that I asked you back on 9/3, mainly about the Anderson Road project, why it was done, how much it cost, what fund, and who approved it. On 10/22, at a public meeting in Scandia Township Hall with Supervisor I. Winkie, he gave a presentation about how the roads are funded and the lack of funding. He stated that it would take $142 million to do what is needed for the Marquette County roads. He gets about $10 million. He explained how roads are determined to get upgraded and maintained. It has to do with traffic flow, past work, areas that have been worked on or not been worked on in the general time period. He spoke about the budget for over an hour. When it came to the subject of Anderson Road, he stated the reason that Anderson Road was upgraded was because somebody put bricks in a wet spot. That is the why. He said he was solely responsible. It was his call to do this project, and he had the write-off on it. That is the who approved. The funds came from the Marquette County Road Maintenance Fund. That is the what fund. And he stated that he guessed at the cost of this project was $15,000. But the Marquette County Road Commission does not detail costs for projects like these. They do not break it down. They just have dailies, and he is guessing. He does not have a exact cost for that. That's the how much. There is no Marquette County road maintenance policy. When I requested one, I was sent the seasonal road policy that I handed out to you guys the last time I was here. He did not follow the seasonal road policy where the township would approve this project and would have to be forced to pay 60%. He states that the DEQ is making them do additional work, spending more money on this project, as they did not pull a proper permit and they did not do a proper job on this subject. Mr. Iwinski stated that the seasonal road maintenance is solely his choosing of where and why and how much. The poor decision-making and lack of oversight is very concerning. I find it interesting that I found this information out at a public meeting given by Mr. Iwinski. On 9/3, when Commissioner DeRocha, when I first came here, he spoke to me out in the hall and assured me that he would get to the bottom of this. He seemed very concerned about Commissioner Nordine contacting the Road Commission without him being involved. 2 days later, or 3 days later, on the 6th, I spoke with him via the phone, and he assured me again he was going to get to the bottom of this, and again voiced his concern about Commissioner Nordine contacting the Road Commission without him. At 9/17, the commission meeting, Mr. DeRocha stated that he went to the Marquette County Road Commission to meet with them about the Anderson Road, and he stated, "I went there and no one was around. They were out in the field." That answering is mind-boggling. I attempted to go to the Marquette County Road Commission meeting on 9/16 in Ishpeming. They canceled the meeting with no notice on the web or anywhere else. I drove all the way to Ishpeming to find a note on the door. If the liaison can't get with them and they cancel meetings without putting it on the web, what's the rest of the public supposed to do? On 10/1, I was read a letter by the Commissioner Corcoran, which was the result of Commissioner Corcoran, DeRocha, and had a meeting with Mr. Iwinski. To paraphrase this letter, Mr. Iwinski told you guys that the road was, he did road maintenance on the road, and he gave me a copy of the McNate Act, which shows that they have access to the road. Never addressing my questions of why, how much, who approved, or where the funds come from. At that same meeting, I approached Commissioner Nordine at a recess to request a copy of a letter that was read to me, and to make a point that the letter did not answer these questions. At that time, Commissioner Adamini interjected into our conversation and stated, "Didn't this road give someone access to their property?" And I asked the Commissioner Adamini if the Road Commission was in the business of building roads for individuals. He stated that we have a duty to keep the roads in good condition or we are liable. This is either a complete lack of understanding of the situation, as they built a road that never had anybody going down it, or it was just an effort to make me go away. The fact that 3 commissioners met with Supervisor Iwinski to discuss the facts of my complaint and came back with an answer like that is disturbing to me and an embarrassment to the commission. I found out more from a public meeting. Either the county commission did not try to find the real answers, Iwinski misled you or held back information, or you misled me. Either way is definitely a serious sign of a problem with oversight between the commission, the Road Commission, and Mr. Iwinski. Commissioner Aholm, you were the one commissioner I know had the courage to come out and see Anderson Road project on 9/24. I ask you, do you think this was a good use of Road Commission maintenance funds?
That the Road Commission has that authority and obligation. We are a separate entity from them. So I'm not in a position to answer that question.
Okay. With the political issues of the budget, including the county commission budget, the highly publicized 45-cent road tax, the poor use of funds on projects like this, and how many other projects are going on, you should be concerned. You say either entity, but you appoint them. If nobody's overseeing them, I think the people need to know this. It appears there is a lack of oversight, if that is the case, at all levels from the commission on down. I have listened to this commission discuss budget concerns, saying how fiscally responsible they are. I listened to Supervisor Iwinski talk for over an hour about how little funds they have and how well they do with so little. When it comes to the Anderson Road project, you do not keep accurate records of cost. They spend money on this project at Mr. Iwinski's complete discretion. They bypassed their own seasonal road policy and used road maintenance funds, so they were not accountable to the township. And there is no maintenance policy. This lack of oversight is astounding. The people of Scandia Township could have had more highly traveled roads maintained and the funds used for that. The people of Scandia Township, the taxpayers of Marquette County deserve better than this. This is not over and it's not going away.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Public comment? Any other public comment? Okay, moving on here, review of claims and accounts, total expenditures for the period October 11th, 2019 through October 31, 2019, $716,866.79. Biweekly payroll for period ending October 19th, 2019, $700,109.33. Electronic payments for the period totaling $38,359.18. Motion would be in order to consider paying the bills.
I so move.
Support.
Moved by Commissioner Arnold, supported by Commissioner Nordin. Any other comments, questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Public hearings, there are none. Privileged comment, there are none. Informational items, DEQ, pending application report, Department of Treasury, grant disbursement, City of Nagani Planning Commission update. 9D is a resolution supporting legislation to adopt 4-year terms for county commissioners. Motion to accept the informational items for file and accept comment on it.
Motion to approve.
Moved by Commissioner DePietro,
Support.
supported by Commissioner Aramidi. Any comments?
The only question I'd have, Mr. Chair, is that 9D, it seems like it's a resolution. Are we going to act on that tonight, or?
If you want to,
Okay. Well, because it's in the information section and not the action items, that's why I was curious, but.
wanted to move down to the,
Well, let's pass this and then we'll move on to that. How's that?
any other comments on the informational items? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Action items, first one is support of City of Michigan Senior Center project. As you're all aware, they've been having a problem with the senior center being closed over there in Ishpeming, and they're applying for grants, CDBC grant for demolition of the old building and building a new one. So I guess I would ask for a motion that we give the support to the City of Ishpeming to support their grant application and
So moved.
Support.
motion by Commissioner O'Neill, supported by Commissioner Adamito, so that hopefully in the next 2 years, they can get the old one taken down and a new one built. They had good feedback from MEDC about the grant, so with the notice that's been put on the building, now it has to be either completely repaired, and all the architects say it's not worth repairing, so they want to take it down and demolish the building.
They have a temporary site for, don't they, while this is all going on?
Phelps School. Downstairs in the Phelps School.
Now, these are CDBG grants, but it's a loan. It's not a grant, it's a loan, right, that they're getting? Or is it a partially grant?
It's a grant,
It's a combination.
so
Good for them, yep.
Is the Phelps School thing just a temporary thing, or could that end up being a
as
permanent
of
site?
now, it's a temporary interim thing which they're going to lease here over the next, I guess, 14 months or whatever. But their desire is to have a new senior center out past the flooring mill out that way. Any other comments, questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Next is an important item that the board needs to take some action on. That is a proposed message to all senators, House of Representatives, along with Governor Whitmer, encourage them to go back to the table and solve all the financial issues regarding funding for local government entities and specifically the 83 counties in Michigan that are getting hammered with the budget as it is now with all the vetoes in it. And this is something, I guess, we passed out a sheet here that indicates what all the 15 counties in the UP will lose, starting at the top. Alger, $619,625. Baraga, $746,724. These first two are little counties that are hardly keeping the doors open now. Chippewa County, $220,473. Delta, $318,000. Dickinson, $584,750. Gogebic, $390,361. Holton County, $226,500. Iron County, $302,000. They've been on TV for the last 6 weeks with over $300,000 of previous cuts, so now they can add on another $300,000. Keweenaw, $116,777. Luce, $676,000. They hardly operate county government in Luce County. Now, what will that hit do to them? Mackinac County, $511,136. Marquette, $817,000. That's up to about 10 jobs. You can say 800,000. Next, we have Menominee, $427,667, and Noggin, $238,000. Schoolcraft, $648,000. So you can see the magnitude. That's just the 15 counties in the UP, and some of the ones below the bridge, Roscommon and Crawford, and some of these lose over half of their budgets with the cuts. So Scott and I talked to Senator McBroom and Representative Cambenzi today. They're both supportive of finding solutions to this and getting it corrected with supplemental legislation. So I know we have, Senator McBroom had some of the same ideas that I had as far as the priorities, as well as Cambenzi. So I don't think that, there's a way that they can figure it out, and I guess they need to come up with a little effort with new money for the governor and the roads, I guess, in order to probably get this thing resolved. Not getting the 45 cents that she was looking for, but they need to come up with some token to get her on board.
No, I agree that we're caught in this political funding battle, and it's not right. And they're kind of using the local units. It reminds me of like parents fighting over the kids, and that's what they're doing here. So they need to stop doing that, because it's got a negative impact on us for sure. Now, the only question I have is that I see that for 10B we have a letter that's dated and signed already. Did it get sent already, or just a proposed letter?
That one was sent before.
That was sent quite a while ago.
Okay, that's what I thought.
I sent that to Representative Cambenzi, all the UP senators and representatives, and the governor's office also received a copy.
So I guess it's an action item. I wasn't sure what you wanted us to do. I mean,
We want to send this to all
the same letter, basically.
Well, I guess we can rewrite it with the specifics, what it's doing to the UP as part of the letter.
Okay.
We need to send it to all the senators, all the representatives, and the governor.
I would move that we have the chair and our administrator draft a letter and send it to all our legislators, basically saying the same things that are in the letter here as an example.
Support. Moved by Commissioner Dean, supported by Commissioner Alholm. This is serious business, and it's all political games and shit going on now, but it's serious for the people of Michigan and the people that live in these counties, that work in the counties and everywhere else. When you talk about shaving $800,000 off your budget, you've got a balanced budget that keeps everybody working, and no, if we have to cut 800,000, that's not good. So anyway, we spent 2 hours this morning, I guess a half hour just on the budget with Ken Benji and I trust them to want to do the right thing. I know Groom laid out some of these things that he absolutely wants a supplemental for, and so did Ken Menzie. So I don't think it would be that difficult to get this solved if they would come up with a little money, new money for roads, not 45 cents, which ain't gonna fly, but they need to come up with something so they get the governor on board. Scott, any comments?
Chairman, I think you expressed it pretty well. I think that one thing I would note that the takeaway that I had from my visit with the ambassadors a week and a half ago was both sides, both from the governor's office representative and the Republican senators I had an opportunity to talk with. There was really an interest on both parties to get something done. They just were showing a lack of trust at this time with each other. And I think they need to find a way to get beyond that and find a way that makes comfort, brings comfort to them to both sit down, know that what they're working on will get resolved. And but that was really a real big thing that I took away from is a lack of trust on both parties at this time, and trying to work through this, and hopefully they'll be able to get somewhere. But it will be difficult otherwise.
What we're doing here tonight needs to go on in all 83 counties in Michigan and all the cities and townships and everywhere else to put some pressure on both sides to get back to the table and get something done and quit playing politics and blaming one another for what has happened. So, any other comments? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Next was the late addition, the resolution in support of reinstating the 25th Circuit Court judicial position in Marquette County. It's one that probably should never have been taken away in the first place because of the numbers that we have about 25% of the cases in the whole UP in Marquette County, so we shouldn't have lost a judge, but that's where politics comes into even that thing, what happened back here in the last decade. So anyway, there's...
I do have one question, and I support the resolution, but we created a full-time referee because we lost the circuit court judge, so...
Then we can get rid of that one.
Well, that was my question, are we even, how much have we considered this?
Well, the problem with the referee, though, is that the judge, we didn't pay for, and the referee, we do pay for. So we'd like to get the state paying for it again, I think, right? But you're right, then poor Darrell would have his job on the line, but he could run for judge.
When Chairman Corcoran and I met with Judge Mizuki and Judge Hill, it must have been a month and a half or 2 months ago by now, they did indicate that if in fact a judge is reinstated, that they would work to reduce costs so that we wouldn't be seeing an impact or increase in costs and balance that. So they don't know what that would look like yet today, but that's something that they assured the chairman that would take place.
We let the judges know that, you can't have it both ways, so I guess the full-time referee wouldn't be needed. We didn't need one before, so that certainly wouldn't be needed now if we get a judge.
Well, we'd have to see what they're proposed to. I guess I don't want to close that door, because we're supporting this resolution.
I'd make a motion to adopt the resolution.
I support it.
The resolution supporting the passage of legislation to adopt. You got the resolution?
Go. There you go.
It's a resolution in support of reinstating the 25th Circuit Court judicial position. Marquette County Board of Commissioners supports reinstating the Circuit Court judge in Marquette County. Marquette County was assigned 2 Circuit Court judges until legislation passed in 2011, with the reduction taking effect by attrition on December 31st, 2016. Since that time, felony filings have increased nearly 40%. It has become very difficult to process that caseload with 1 Circuit Court judge, even with the assistance from other judges through concurrent jurisdictional plans. Marquette County has only 4 judges and handles 23% of the total cases in the Upper Peninsula. County's Veterans Services Officer has proposed a Veterans Treatment Court, but the courts cannot embark on such a program without additional judicial resources. Wherefore, be it resolved that the Marquette County Board of Commissioner calls for legislation to restore the circuit position in Marquette County. So we have a motion and a support. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Roll call.
Commissioner Nordine?
Yes.
Commissioner Elton?
Yes.
Commissioner DePietro?
Yes.
Commissioner Adamini?
Yes.
Chairperson Corcoran?
Yes. Public comment?
Well, I wanted to, excuse me, Mr. Chair, could we do may I bring up the resolution from the informational section 9D, which is supporting the passage of legislation to adopt a 4-year terms for county commissioners? Can we bring that up? I would move that we adopt that resolution as well.
Support?
Support.
Comments? All in favor, say aye.
Another roll call, yeah, it's a resolution.
Commissioner Nordine?
Aye.
Commissioner Elton?
Aye.
Commissioner DePietro?
Aye.
Commissioner
That's what
Adamini?
everybody's saying.
Commissioner Adamini?
I'm thinking.
Okay.
Aye.
And Chairperson Corcoran?
Yes. All the other positions in the county forever have been 4 years, so that was another political one because they didn't want commissioners running against the representatives. Should have been that way back decades ago.
And it costs money to have these extra elections. It would save us money to have 4-year terms rather than 2-year terms.
Anyway, public comment? Public comment? Commissioner comments? I guess we've talked quite a bit about what's been going on. Mr. DePietro?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. On October 24th, at 10 a.m. at Northern Michigan University, Marquette County Clerk Linda Talisman, Assistant Marquette County Clerk Tanya Nelson, and I attended a naturalization ceremony and the swearing in of 44 new citizens of the United States that had completed all the requirements for citizenship. They had arrived in the U.S. from 30 different countries. The oath was performed by the State's District Judge R. Ellen Nager, with County Clerk Linda Talisman congratulating and presenting each new citizen with their United States citizenship documents, and Assistant County Clerk Tanya Nelson also congratulated and presented each new citizen with ceremony papers. I also gave a welcoming to each new citizen with several other speakers representing Senator Stabenow, Gary Peters. With this large group, this could not be held at the federal courthouse because they couldn't handle the capacity. After all the people that attended, the public, the family, there's right around 200 in attendance, so that's why they decided to hold us at Northern. And one of the things that I wanted a special thank you to County Clerk Linda Talisman and Assistant County Clerk Tanya Nelson, who after the ceremony had all the new citizens follow them into the hallway to register to vote from this day forward. So, job well done. I know you got all their attention right away, so very good. On Thursday, October 31st at 12 noon in a probate courtroom, County Chairman Jerry Corcoran, County Administrator Scott Urbish, Commissioner Karen Allen, County Clerk Linda Talisman, Assistant County Clerk Tanya Nelson, I attended the oath of ceremony to Marquette County Treasurer Nicholas Laporte Benson, and administrated by Honorable Cheryl L. Hill, with the full room of the Benson family, elected officials and members of the public. Nicholas Laporte Benson began his duties on Friday, November 1st, 2019. Congratulations again, Mr. Benson, on your new job and position. And just a reminder for everyone to get out and vote tomorrow, Tuesday, November 5th. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
There's one county team left in the football playoffs, Ishpeming, so we wish the Hematites well, and came against Lakeland and
I would like to note that I attended a Habitat for Humanity dedication last Friday afternoon. They just finished their 105th home, and located in Sands Township, and they had a ceremony for the family and some members of the board of directors for Habitat for Humanity.
thank you. Any other comments, staff comments? Meeting's adjourned.
Yeah, but I'm not sure he's saying anything. I think he's okay. Yeah, that's explaining Joe for picking on me, but I don't think that's what Joe said first.